Today I have another spring planting project. I recently picked up those gorgeous spring bulbs at a grocery store and I thought that would be the perfect opportunity to prepare another spring arrangement in time for Mother's Day, for Easter, or just to celebrate spring. I get so excited with all the gorgeous spring colors that we see around and I want to add more in the garden. I was thinking I'm going to plant in this gorgeous copper container and use those little spring bulbs that I picked up at the grocery store. Gorgeous purple sensation hyacinths, about to bloom, so it's high time to be using them. And also some cute little tete-a-tete narcissus. They're not blooming yet, but they'll grow really quickly, and also their blooms last a really long time. I had them in the garden last year in a little display. They were really cheerful. So I'm excited to mix those two together. Let's get started. I was thinking I could also reuse some plants from my little table. I think mixing the foliage and the blooms is going to make for a really interesting display. This is the little table. I recently repopped that little pine there. And we still have a mix of foliage plants that look really good. This gorgeous purple okra that pushed a lot of new growth. Can you see all this really pretty foliage? Some cineraria here, another okra, lambs here. So obsessed with this plant right now. I could pop a drainage hole in this or protect it, but I don't want to damage it. I use this inside the house, so I really like that I don't have to use a saucer and that it will just be watertight. So I'm just going to try to be careful with watering. I'm just breaking up some bigger lumps like this to have a finer grain. First, I'm going to pop in the hyacinths in the center. I definitely want these to be the centerpiece. Everyone is nice and rooted. I'm just going to leave this as a clump, but you could completely detach them and plant them one by one. I've done this in the past. All you have to do is just really gently tug on the bulb and separate some of its own roots. Shorten this just a little bit. Then I'm going to reuse some plants from my little display. Actually, I think I'm going to pop this on the table over there. It's going to be a bit easier to move as we'll want to use this table more and more as the warm months are coming in. To quickly remove any dead leaves, anything damaged. You can see here we have some old leaves. And I think here it looks like, I think I had planted two small plants back in October. It looks like they've grown quite a bit, so it will do them good to be separated. Because we have the purple, I was thinking reusing also that little okra from my little table arrangement would be really nice. I don't remember the name. If I find it, I'll pop it on the screen. I think it's really pretty. It's been happy in this spot. It's putting on a bit of growth. So I think it would be really, really beautiful to draw in that purple. Ooh. Love the patina, that pot. Now I'm going to use the tete-a-tetes, and these I'm going to divide into smaller groups. When the plant starts to be a bit root bound, it's kind of difficult to wiggle the pot out, so I'm just trying to press around as much as I can, and sometimes, aha, you get it to slide right off. To separate this one clump of plants, all you're doing is pressing around gently. You could also use a garden knife to cut through the roots. Here we don't have a really root-bound situation, although I'm saying that, but... All right! Just divide. So I try to reuse plants as much as I can, and I think those still have a really beautiful spring feel and go really beautifully with the purple. If I can get those out of the pot, oh my word. All right. Woo-hoo. Oh, a nice rooted plant. It's good. Just grabbed one of my favorite tools in the garden. kind of a knife, saw slash depth measure. Super handy. I think I can get several plants out of this, again, to draw the same interest around. I think one piece over here. Oh, love that contrast. Coffee sip to think about what I put in the remaining space. I found this gorgeous oregano plant. It smells amazing. I think it's going to be perfect. It's going to be a little bit big though, so we may have to trim some of it off. And I'm just going to squish it a little bit. I don't know if squishing is a technical term. I haven't talked too much about light requirement for this because simply in spring we don't have really harsh sun just yet, so shade to part shade should be really fine for these. Though the oregano would want a bit more sun. And of course the hyacinths, if you keep them in a cool place of the garden, a bit more shaded, they'll last a little bit longer. It's a bit dried now, but I still had a bit of moss from Christmas project. So I'm just going to top dress the soil that's apparent, just so that we have like a nice and finished look. I really love how this turned out. I think this is so spring and it's going to be really pretty on that little table. Regarding watering, I have to be careful now because there's no drainage holes, so if it rains a lot, this needs to be brought back inside or protected in some way so that there's no excess water for the plants. As I mentioned, the hyacinths are probably going to bloom first, but it's going to be really easy to leave them out and replace them. And I ended up adding those cute little pussy willow branches to provide a framework when they'll bloom to support the blooms. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll keep you posted. I ordered more David Austin roses for the garden and I think they arrive next Friday. So next week we'll probably plant these. See you next time. Bye. We're almost there. I thought I'd give you a little tour of the spring bulbs and what's nearly flowering. Those are little alliums. More hyacinths over here, some daffodils, some muscari. Can you see how close we are to bloom? And then just over there, we have the little apple tree that I just pruned and more daffodil gorgeousness. Can you see this? The first daffodil bloom. It's almost open. I think tomorrow we're going to have the surprise. Little orange trumpet, they're so cheerful. I have 2 pots, one here and just one behind. Just over here, I have more daffodils. Everything came up beautifully. And then over here, the flower bed, the sunflower bed full of blooms. Here I have little hyacinths in the corner. So much green. Oh my word. I think these are going to be the first tulips to bloom. That's going to be so soon. They're gorgeous. Here, another little drift of daffodils. It's so exciting. Super close to blooms as well on these. Can't wait! Over here, I have 2 pots with muscari. Here and there. I had dahlias in those last year. And actually, I had planted Narcissus thalia and some crocuses, but they got completely eaten by squirrels. But we have gorgeous muscari coming up now. Hi, princess. How Over here on the shaded area, I have a lot of hostas, and you can see a bunch of transplanted foxglove seedlings, and I also have a lot of daffodils coming up. You can see some foliage everywhere. I had minnow and a butterfly mix, so we'll see what comes back this year. Then just next to it, I have a little tree of pots. Same here. Tulips and daffodils well underway. Can you see all that brand new growth? And over here I have more pots. I'm so pleased. Everything is growing so well. Those are the little sister pots that I put together in the tulip container planting video. I have White Prince and Purissima, I think. I'm not sure which one is which. I think the labels kind of got lost in translation. More tulips, more tulips. Over here, the little winter area is still looking really good. Of course, the evergreens, the camellia is full of buds. The schemia is also started to bloom. So gorgeous. Another view on the flower bed is going to be gorgeous. How can we not mention, now this is turning into a garden tour. How can we not mention this wall of flowers? This is Clematis armandi. It's a very, very vigorous climber. I have to prune on it all the time. Don't know if you can see like all this new growth just from a couple of weeks. But right now, we're at the beginning of March. It's producing the most gorgeous blooms. Look at that. All of those are full of blooms. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's windy, it's cold, it's cold, it's cold. I have food soil everywhere. Hopefully I can wash everything off.